This ain't no joke, this ain't no game. This that CSZ game. They said pull up, so I came. You better put some respect on their name. Yeah, 55 was goody. Kill the vibe, how could he? Big Cardinal on the hoodie. Let me break it down for you fully. This ain't your average broadcast. This ain't just no podcast. I'm on the show, spread fake news. We just call it podcast. What's Joey, Sam, Shawn, Dalton. And you know that boy hit you. He said he wants small fries. Tell him they better make him big. Yeah, you already know what we be on.
You bet. Here he goes. This place is gone.
If we said it instead of the song, sit in the seat and set up your phone. You in the Cardinal sports zone.
Straight steal of home. The slide. The Cards win.
The magic is working tonight. How do you know when things are
The emotional journey to the championship.
Welcome, everybody. We are coming to you live from the Four Pegs studio. This is the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Wyman. Here are my co-hosts for the evening. First off, he is the big little brother. He stands at 6'8", 300 pounds.
Close enough.
It's Joe Wyman.
Acknowledge me.
All right, they're going to do the... No,
Hey!
you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of not having to do it,
Yeah.
it's our guest host and the featured guest for part 2 of this weekend's doubleheader, pun intended. He's one of the most clutch hitters and undercover highlight reels in Louisville baseball history. Is our guy Colin Lyman.
Yeah, thanks for having me here. Excited. It was fun. Let me just say to talk with some real Cards fans before the show even started. So I'm excited for the show today.
His return, because if you all remember during season 1 or season 2, we had that big remote at Four Pegs and him and as Joey called him, Mr. Fondue, Luke Smith, and our guy Asad Ali, which Asad's going to be back on the show trying to get a lot more Louisville baseball flavor this summer because we've already had Corey Ray on, who had nothing but, like, when I told him you'd be on in a couple weeks, he gushed, obviously. Last but not least, he puts the lotion on his skin, and after that, we don't really care what he does with it. It's our guy, Shawn Barber. Shawn.
How's it going?
What's up? It is. Look, we're glad to be here with you all on a Sunday. Appreciate everybody for joining us. Appreciate the man above for letting us, come together for another day. And we're still waiting on Sam to show up, so he may not show up. Actually, I think he just texted me. I'll check it after we get to a point to where I can stop. Let's do this. I don't normally do this, but I'm going to call him live.
Yes.
Let's do this.
Off the cuff.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're calling about your extended car warranty.
Hey, is this Sam Baston?
Yeah.
Hey, this is Jeremy Wyman, Cardinal Sports Zone Podcast. How you doing today?
This guy.
Hey, are you going to click on the link? Because the show started 2 minutes ago, and our guest was looking forward to speaking to you, and you're not here.
I don't see a link.
I put it in on Twitter.
So it's the missing link?
That was horrible.
That was good.
It's not fire today.
That was good. That was good.
No,
right.
it's not on here.
So if his name was Jack.
Sam, I sent it to you. It's literally, everybody can see.
Yep, saw it.
Links at the bottom of the personal. Hold on. I'm going to text it to you.
Yep.
Yeah, do that.
Can't
Because
go around
I
that
don't
one.
see it in the podcast link at
No,
all.
it's not in the pod, Sam. It's in our individual conversation. The rest of the crew didn't need to know to be on at 1:15. Just you and Joey and Shawn. All right, you're there. I just wanted to call you. All right. Yep. All right, so Sam will be joining us shortly.
Maybe.
Again, thanks for coming back on with us, Colin. It's been a minute. Don't forget the Mossy Oak chat line is open. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or however, send us your questions on social media. Check out the graphic below to see how you can follow the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast on social media and how to help support monetarily. We got the YouTube subscriptions, the gifts, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. The reason, and Colin, first thing he said when you come in here, man, what a fantastic student. And we put a lot of our hard work and money into this, but your all support has also been paramount to this upgrade. As we explained when Luke was here on
Friday.
Friday night. Joey, go ahead.
Uh-oh. explain to everybody,
We
I
were.
was just trying to.
Oh, okay.
While you coughed.
Well, I can't talk.
What about? Well, we were in the basement.
There you
basement
go.
Flooded.
There you
pretty
go.
bad, up to my kneecaps. Ruined everything down there. So had to start over. We were in the kitchen on the main floor for a season, maybe 2. I'm not sure.
Hey, there's Sam. It's live TV, pal. What's going on, buddy? Appreciate you joining us, man. Our second guest of the night. He is the Louisville football and women's basketball beat writer for CardinalSportsZone.com. It's Sam Baisden.
What's up? What's up?
What's up, man? Good to have you on here. But yeah, just explaining the we literally started from the bottom and now we're here. But it's because of you all. It's because of us too. But thank you for y'all's love and support there. Hit that thumbs up button while you're here on YouTube. Make sure you are watching on YouTube if you can. It helps us out more analytically that we can go to sponsors and be like, look, we get this many. They don't care about Facebook because they know that could be your uncles, your aunts, if you're Kentucky fans, that could be your uncle dads or your aunt moms. We don't know. But
Sister cousin.
Same thing. Yeah. But yeah, YouTube's the one that helps us out the most. So join us there if you can. Speaking of sponsors, shout out to Fitness Market, Four Pegs, Collision Course Crew Tailgaters, Cherry Picking, Shoot 360, Mossy Oak, Planet Fitness, Rally House, and our latest sponsor, our summer sponsor, Zach Beckman from Beckman's Fine Blades. Colin, how you been, man?
Been good. It's been a fun season, up and down, roller coaster season with the baseball team. But yeah, personally, doing well. Looking forward to summer. Some good weather. I've been, since baseball has ended, been dabbling in some other sports. Decided on golf, I think.
Okay.
So we're trying to improve there. You golfer.
He's a big golfer.
Okay.
Well,
literally a big golfer.
Oh, okay.
I've been playing for 25 years. I'm not hardly any better than I was.
Love to play.
Yeah.
Loves it. So speaking of this year's team, what are you doing now?
Yeah. So right now I work at Northeast Christian Church as a pastor there with our young adults. And part of that role, I get to be a chaplain on the baseball team and the golf team as well, which has been really fun. But yeah, being a part of the team, it kind of just looks like going to practices, games, building relationships with the guys, and just inviting them into some things we have going on with FCA on campus. So it's been a blessing. I've been doing it for probably 4 or 5 years at this point, and yeah, just loving it. I love this year's team.
So you get to work with Chris Morgan a lot?
Yeah.
Fantastic guy. I love Chris to death. Him and his wife, amazing people. Yeah. And they've been around all the programs a long time. And if you've met Chris Morgan and you don't like him, then you just don't like people.
That's right.
And you probably should go lock yourself in a closet. I'm not trying to give you any ideas, Shawn. I'm just saying. All right, so
debatable whether he's still in the closet.
No, that's not a thing. Can we edit that out? People, let's edit that out. We can't edit it out. It's live, pal. It's live. We told you this already. We sat here before the show. We watched a plethora of Colin Lyman highlights on YouTube. You're lucky enough that you got your stuff on YouTube. Like, there's no video footage of Joey's high school sports accomplishments. There's none of mine. Shawn, did you even play a sport in high school other than keep away from the girl?
I was on the quick recall team.
So was I.
Quick recall
too.
I was terrible at that, but I was great at written test stuff. Like
regional champs.
Regional champs?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
We won regional champs.
I was the anchor.
No.
So wait, you were the anchor man?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is real.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's a real thing.
Man, when I was in middle school and first 2 years of high school, I did football and quick recall at the same time. But I loved it, man. I loved it.
He was one of
a pursuit, for school.
He was one of the rare people that got to be both a nerd and a jock at the same time, and people didn't say nothing to him because he was 8 feet tall.
Well, I mean,
like, what are they gonna do? Like, you can't be smart.
There's so much useless knowledge in here that you never know you need until somebody asks you that one question, and I mean that nobody's ever going to ask you unless you're in a competition.
Yeah,
and it's just like, oh, yeah, I don't know this. I don't know how I know this, but I do.
Absolutely, Sam. What did you play in? I know you played sports in high school.
Yeah, I did soccer, basketball, and track.
And that was that back home or was that here?
No, it was back home. When I came here, Oddly enough, in basketball tryouts, I messed my knee up. So that was it.
I can't imagine you being good in basketball. Were you okay?
I can't imagine. When he said track, I'm like, dude, you didn't do the hurdles. I know.
No, I was a 100 meter.
If you 5'3" and hurdle, that's just not.
I did the 100 meters, the 400 meters, and the 800 meters.
Okay.
Yeah. And the 4x1.
I thought maybe he was the shot put.
That honestly, and that's not any shade. Well, that it is shade. It's not. It's not facetious shade, but I just can't imagine you. Like every time I've seen you run, it seems like you ran in slow motion. So I just can't really imagine you being on the track team.
That's about 60 pounds and a knee surgery.
Okay, fair enough.
I thought he was one of the players like holding on to a metal pole on what's that foosball table.
Oh my God.
He was a foosball character.
So for those of y'all that don't realize, we're giving Sam a hard time because he's well, first off, he's our guy, but second off, he's kind of supposed to have been in studio like 3 out of the last 4 episodes and has been here exactly 0 times. So we're going to give him as much
the last 2 months
crap as possible. So it's circumstances beyond his control, obviously, but we're still going to do it. That's just what we do. Back to the point, and we do get out. We get off track a lot doing
Shawn
the show.
Was
it is
thumb
fun.
Wrestling champion. The thing of it was is that he was just thumb wrestling himself. Like it was just like this. And, 1, 2. Oh, he kicked out.
So you're saying much like Marcus Maben, he was 500 for his career.
Yeah.
Okay. Love you, Marcus.
Or as MJF would say, he was very mid.
Mid. Okay. The train's off the tracks.
He jobbed to himself.
And I don't.
I was constantly rewriting the script, I was like, okay, which.
So you were the Vince McMahon of thumb wrestling?
Yeah, I was like, do I want the left thumb to win? Yes, I do. No, I'm gonna go right thumb today.
We gotta edit that out.
Colin's a chaplain.
I didn't say it.
And this is a family show.
Say it, man.
Family show.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Shawn knows not what he says sometimes, but on the flip side, if he says stuff like that, I cannot not laugh.
No, absolutely.
I will have an aneurysm.
So,
and I might have one anyway.
I had 4.
Yeah, well,
I know.
Yeah,
crazy.
I get to laughing so hard, and I've died like 7 times on the show.
Yes, it came back to life every time.
Yeah.
It's been crazy. We watched your highlights before the show. Getting back on track. I was trying to figure out where we were on the track so I could hop back in the car. Your favorite moment in college, what was it?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Let's go different.
Okay.
Was it an offensive play or a defensive play?
So, naturally I want to go to like a team moment, but if you're asking individual, I'd say it was the catch against Kentucky.
Oh yeah.
The super regional. That honestly, I jumped for that one, and it's one of those where you jump and you're like, I don't know, really think if I'm gonna. I don't think this is gonna happen. Like I just jumped and like I remember I like blacked out for like 2 seconds while I was in the air, like after I hit the ground, and then I kind of just like opened my eyes and looked at my mitt, and I was like, wow. And then like
that's
the
amazing.
most surreal moment, you just hear the crowd like go crazy.
Divine intervention.
Literally, God just plopped that ball right in my glove.
Here you go.
Yeah, here you go. And I was like, thank you.
This belongs to you, sir.
Yeah, just so surreal, and yeah, you don't realize, but it was early in the game, but like you just don't know that would have been a double probably or something. So
could have changed the trajectory of the game. Yeah, absolutely. I was going to go with my favorite, and I have a lot because again we were talking about this before the show. For about 12 years, 14 years, however long it was, I went to every Louisville baseball game at home. And then they started charging for the conference games. It kind of priced me out a little bit because I was going, and it was like they wanted $30 a game for a ticket. And I'm not criticizing. You want to make money. It's a business. So definitely not criticizing at all. But I just wasn't able to go to as many games. But what I'll say is this. There were so many Colin Lyman moments that it was hard for me to pick. But if I had to pick one, and I'll go defensive too, it was against Vanderbilt. At home, and I'm going to try to really quickly after I ask you the next question, we're going to try to put that highlight up on the the screen here because I think we have that highlight ready to be queued up on the CSZ Tron 2000, which I love this because it's also touchscreen. So whenever we got to, there you go, Joey. Yeah, just go ahead and hit that button. Let's go down to guest. And then let's see what happens when you hit the search. Colin Lyman highlights. Wow, that's crazy how that happened.
Weird.
I appreciate you guys not making me watch them before.
Listen.
Well, first we started watching that one.
No, this was the one
That's a rough interview, by the way.
Then we got to
the interview. No. We're not gonna. We're gonna show them this because y'all can see this on the screen.
Absolutely should watch it.
And he singles.
Oh.
Colin Lyman robs him of a single.
Almost got the.
Double them up.
That would have been.
Colin Lyman comes out of nowhere.
Are you kidding me with Colin Lyman?
No, because if you'd watched him at any point in his career, you'd have known that was the norm. Defensively, that was the norm. Not blowing smoke, not trying to make you have a big head. We've already got a couple guys in here that have humongous heads. But let's go offensively, too, because a lot of people will be like, when you think of Louisville offense, you think Corey Ray. You think Coco Johnson. You think Jeff Gardner. You don't necessarily think Colin Lyman, right? But if you were an avid Louisville baseball fan, the amount of 8th and 9th inning clutch singles, doubles, triples, homers that you had, crazy. And I wish I was able to get like a stat line up. I'm not the Kelly Dickey of Louisville baseball, but there were so many times I saw with my own eyes, like you low key, you are one of the best all around players we've had here all time. And that's again not trying to make you feel like, oh, they're just saying this because I'm a guest. He's not saying it because he didn't watch Louisville baseball as much as I did. Joey's just here for the comedy. Oh, wait, Sam's here. Hey, Sam, what's going on, man? Did you join us?
I've actually got his career stats to pull up. So.
Oh, sorry. Well, what does this career stat say, Joey?
Well, the first thing I noticed is this dude got hit by a pitch 30 times.
Yeah.
God.
Dude, that's a dog right there. My best friend played high school baseball, and that's what he prided. He led the state one year, like getting hit 17 times.
Oh,
yeah, like if it's close, I'm leaning in. If I can get on base, I can get on base, that's the first thing I know.
And there were multiple times that HBP led to a run scored, and that's the clutchness that I'm talking about. Whether it was a hit by pitch or just a hit in general, I don't know anybody. I cannot sit here in my head and think of anybody else other than your usual subjects, usual suspects.
Yeah. Pardon
the word tangle there. That did the things that you did as well as you did. So shout out to you for that. Know that you're loved and appreciated and revered for that. Oh wait, Sam's here. Hey Sam, what's going on, man? Thanks for hopping on here with us.
Yeah.
So Sam.
No, I'm just trying to keep an eye on my nieces. They playing with the neighborhood kids.
Oh, okay, so you're pulling a Shawn today.
I know those kids, those neighborhood kids over in Austin Park.
Yeah, you got to watch them. They are shiesty, Joey said.
No, I never heard anything out there.
So, thoughts on how it played out?
Yeah. Let me just say I was really excited for this team coming into this season. I just sense a lot of really good leadership from the team. I liked having Kamayu. That's part of the good part of, the transfer portal is you get some really good leaders from other programs that have already been developed and coached well and been through it. So we have a lot of that, but the season's been up and down, like we shared before. We started off, really well. And then, obviously the last 10 games or so have not gone the way we wanted, but I'm confident in this team. I think we've showed a lot of fight in some games, which I think, again, goes back to leadership. Like, we can get punched in the mouth and we can still come back. Offensively, we were sharing earlier, like, we got some of the best bats we've seen in a long time. I think if we just get a couple other pieces going, it's going to be a dangerous team, one that could sneak up.
Is that crazy to you? Not meaning to cut you off there. Is it crazy to you that this team, full of, a lot of people would say full of average Joes, maybe, are able to, in the team, and compare that to the teams you were on? I mean, just give everybody an example of the best hitting team that you were on. Like, so, and obviously Corey was on that team. Devin was on that team. Who else?
Dangerous players. Will Smith,
Will
Nick Solak, Blake Taveri, Kobe Fitch. I mean, top to bottom, pretty much almost everybody in certain lineups, sophomore and junior year, made it to the big leagues or were drafted.
Like
So
Louisville, you're talking about Louisville baseball legend, just crazy. And Kobe Fitch, what a good dude.
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, you can't forget the only 3-time Olerud Award winner in history. We talked about that with Corey a couple episodes ago. That there really there's only one person that can compete with Corey as greatest of all time here. Yeah. Now, growing up before Corey and Brendan stepped foot on campus, people would say it was Coco Johnson. They would say it was Jeff Gardner. They would argue a variety of other people. But to have both of those guys not only represent this university, but to be on the same team for 2 years, right? They played together.
Yeah.
Because or maybe it was 3. I don't recall. I think it was only 2, but maybe it was all 3 of Brendan's years. Corey was on the team. I'm not certain, but that would be like in pro basketball saying that you had Michael Jordan on your team for 8 seasons, and then the next year, Dr. J was on, or invert that.
Yeah,
Kobe Bryant. Yeah, I thought you were saying Kobe Fitch.
Let's just go with Kobe.
Yeah. Kobe Fitch was another clutch guy. Not as clutch as Colin, but he was another guy that you could depend on for. We had a lot of just the small ball mentality of Coach McDonald. That was almost a breeding ground for everybody to get their fundamentals straight and to produce. Like if you couldn't produce in his lineup, your seasons there or anywhere within that 10, because it was like it feels like since the pandemic, the program has fallen off a little bit. I don't know if y'all agree with me or not. That's my personal opinion. Because that pandemic year, man, we were in line. We should have been at Omaha again, and we may.
I would say that we almost that was probably our best chance not
to win the championship.
Because like when you guys were there, the competition elsewhere was a lot more stringent, whatever the word is. Like there was, even though y'all were like so good, there were other teams that were so good. And not saying that if everything fell off, but like the team that we had 2020 that should have played in Omaha, that was probably our best chance to maybe, bring home plate back with us,
Absolutely. And we just talked about the hitters, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the pitching staffs that you had. Yeah. There was one season, and you can correct, I know I'm going to I get a lot of the years mixed up, but we had like Drew Harrington and Kyle Funkhauser and Josh Rogers, and I know I'm leaving some people out.
Well, Brendan pitched too, didn't he?
Yeah,
Brendan, but Funkhauser. That's what.
Like half the All-American.
Was Birdie on one of those?
Yeah,
Zach Birdie, Nick Birdie,
Hinsman too.
Lincoln Hinsman.
Yes, and let's go back. And again, y'all know how I am. I get going and I start thinking. I'm like a squirrel. I'm like favorite team moment.
Yeah. Ooh, that's good. I would say.
If you steal mine, I'm going to be angry. If you steal mine, I'm going to be angry.
I got a few going through my mind. I'm trying to decide. A lot of them are obviously in the postseason. One that just comes to mind is beating Kennesaw State. Freshman year. Is that what you're going to say?
Yes.
Nick Solak. Oh, my gosh. Freshman coming off the bench.
9,000 people in the stadium.
Was that
and
really
the
what you're going
dog,
to say?
yes, the dog pile, Birdie closing it out. Maybe there was never another.
That used to be in one of our intros.
It was, yeah. Another baseball moment for me that tops that, because the crowd, the biggest crowd in the stadium, Patterson history. You can have a big crowd and they'd be a bunch of dull people. We were so hyped. I was standing right behind. I was right out. I was in the berm, about center field of the berm, and just amazing to see the dog pile. Now I've also been the worst moment I've ever been a part of. Yeah. Well, and you probably know what I'm going to talk about. Was it UCSB? We were leading in the 9th inning, and they hit a walk-off grand slam or 3-run homer to beat us, and
We're up 3-0, ninth inning. It's like walk, dinky single, walk. This pinch hitter comes in with like 20 at bats, lefty.
it was probably their version of Colin Lyman, honestly.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I was in right field, and it was the most surreal.
Did they hit it to right field?
Yes.
Oh, that sucks even worse.
It was,
At least if it was left field, it's like there's nothing,
like,
absolutely nothing I could have done about it. But
it was the most surreal moment ever. But
Sorry to bring that up.
no, it's okay. I peaked in that moment. Good for him.
Sean, we need you to peak in something.
At some point.
Come on, man. We need your pinch hit 3-run home runs.
We're about
We're ready.
We're about to lose Sam here. Sam's losing it.
Anyways.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It always comes up.
So, again, we talked about your thoughts on the season, expectations versus how it's played out so far. Are you satisfied, unsatisfied? How are you feeling about that? You kind of touched on it already, but
yeah, I would say unsatisfied. I think we had a good enough team to host a regional. But again, the job's not done yet. There's still more games to be played. So expectations, still, remains to be seen. My expectations are high, but like I said, I think we're going to surprise some people in the postseason.
Well, that plays to my next question.
Yeah.
Can they turn this around? Obviously, you think they can turn it around. Joey, what about you?
I absolutely think they can turn it around. The thing with sports is anybody can get hot, right? So we proved at the beginning of the season we can do certain things, right? So all you got to do is you just got to string them together, They absolutely can do it, The bats, I don't think are going to be the issue. It's going to be the pitching, but can they string those innings along and minimize, the multiple run innings, things like that. Minimize mistakes, costly mistakes, especially,
Like the 800 walks this season?
Right.
Yeah.
Just, get it to where they can put the ball. If you can get them to put the ball in play, you have a better chance, right? I mean, you give your outfielders a chance to make a play. You get your infielders a chance to make a play. But if you're just walking, you're not giving them the batters pitches to even, throw the bat at, then you just keep walking them. What'd you say that out of the 15 walks and 2 hit HBPs,
like 9 of them scored?
9 runs were scored
Against Pitt.
Yeah, I mean, just like we said, even if you cut that in half, all right,
Yeah.
well, that's a different story, right? But even if you get 1 or 3 or 4 of those balls, hittable, you maybe get double plays, you get out of an inning, you make some plays. So it's just the little things, it's the little things, and the last month the little things haven't went our way. All we got to do is just turn that momentum the other way, and we'll be fine.
I would be interested to find out. And again, I didn't do the research on this. Sean's not only is Shawn our producer, who I have to produce him to produce, but he's also our stat guy. So and he didn't get me these stats. He should have, but I'd be interested to find out how many of those walks were where we had an opportunity, where like 1-2 or 0-2, and we had the opportunity. I feel like it was quite a few of them. We had a chance to strike them out and ended up tossing them 4 potatoes in a row, or 3 out of 4. All right, Shawn, do you think they can turn this around? Because look, baseball is one of the most trendy, get on a run sports there is. If you can get some hits and get some momentum going, you can make a run. Now, there's nothing on paper that shows me that after 50-something games, you can just magically learn how to pitch or magically learn how to control issues. Again, baseball is a finicky sport. It's a special sport. It's a sport that you can go from the kind of season we've had so far to absolutely just turning it around and dominating the rest of the way. How do you feel about the Cardinal, as I like to call them, the baseball cards, chances to turn this around?
With the offense, you're in any game. We've seen that. Even the games we've lost, we come right back and we're right there at the end.
Does that not to cut you off, but to cut you off, does that not frustrate you to see that a lot of it's felt like this too? A lot of the times this season, it's taken for us to be down to score a ton of runs. But then half the games we've scored a ton of runs and run the teams off the scoreboard. But it feels like a lot of the games that we've lost, we were up. It took us to go down big, Pitt game included, Bellarmine game included, for us to come back. So I'll shut up now for a second. That's not my forte to be quiet, but I digress. Go ahead.
As far as the pitching is concerned, as he brought up, some of the guys have been out for a while, and they just started getting reintegrated into the pitching staff, into their roles again. So we hope that they can become what they were early in the season. Because early in the season, we weren't bad. We were actually pretty decent. That's why we were winning so many games.
Right.
That's why we're hanging with some of these better teams.
That's normally why you win games.
And, of course, with baseball, too, baseball is a game more than any of luck. You can hit the ball square 110 miles an hour off the bat into the gap, and the guy makes a great play. Well, you get a pop-up that goes straight up, should be caught, loses in the sun, double.
I wouldn't say it's as much luck as it is anything else, but it is the one sport where luck can play into it a lot more than it does the other sports. The way you said it seemed like baseball is just a bunch of players out there getting lucky every time. Maybe you should play baseball.
I get what he's saying. Like, if you're a three-point specialist in basketball, and your form's good, everything, you shoot the ball, unless somebody goaltends, ball's going in. Like Steph Curry. It's more like if my form and everything is correct, this is going in. And what he was saying, if I hit this ball square, blah, 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 somebody could make a leaping catch, a diving catch.
The wind may blow the line drive right to the third base. Just, you just can't.
In the pitcher, I've seen
so many more elements involved.
Yeah, Vlad Guerrero, he hit the ball off the ground basically for a home run. The pitcher threw a perfect pitch, and the guy just hits over the fence for like a 2-run home run. So it's ridiculous.
Sam, what about you? Sam is our resident grumpy old man. Sam, do we turn this around? And we've got a couple more baseball questions coming up, and then we're going to go to the rest of the show. But do we turn this? I'm not going to ask you, can we turn it around? That's a softball question. Yeah, I just asked them that. Do we turn this around?
I think we do. Because we've seen what we can do during the beginning of the year. We played some great teams during the middle of the year, and we actually played pretty well. But like you guys said, Shawn was trying to say,
because Sam's on board. Sorry, Sam. Joey said we're losing now because you're on board.
We're losing now.
No, the reason why I said it is because baseball is one of those sports where I think luck plays a big part in it. Because
okay, Shawn, good point.
You can, like you say, you can pitch a ball and it could be right on the mark. But if that batter is a half an inch too high or half an inch too low, it could change the trajectory of where the ball is hit and how hard where it's hit. So I think luck plays a big part into baseball. But you also have to have the talent and the coaching too. And I think we do have that talent. We definitely have the coaching. So yeah, I do think the coaching staff finds a way to get to the players and turn it back around to where we were towards the beginning of the season.
That's a very fresh perspective that's not been brought up within the last 10 minutes.
Sam, can you hear us?
Barely.
Okay, because Shawn literally just said
that was word for word what Shawn just said.
That's amazing.
Just sit there and smile.
He said, I think, baseball is kind of luck. Like, we just roasted. Jeremy just roasted Shawn.
I literally just roasted Shawn for saying
baseball
luck.
players are just lucky they're not good.
Turn your speaker up, Sam.
I can hear you fine. It's everyone else that I can't really hear.
Okay. Well, hopefully we're not having that issue again. Let's go to the chat line real quick. Uncle Larry says, loved watching Mr. Lyman display his excellent defensive skills up close. L's up, Cards forever. Corey Carson says, I was there. It was terrible. Then we went out to eat, and all the UCSB fans came into the restaurant cheering. Our guy Babu on YouTube says, if it wasn't for the COVID shutdown, we would have won the championship. Talk about an amazing pitching staff. Our pitching hasn't been the same since, which is kind of what I said too. The listeners can hear you all just fine, or I think they would have said something by now.
Normally they would have.
So maybe it's just
Sam's phone's on vacation.
Sam, are you on your phone or your laptop?
My laptop.
Okay. Are you using regular internet or the Fisher Price free internet?
Net zero.
I don't have a Fisher Price.
Okay. Fair enough.
We got that net zero dial up.
All right, Sam, I'm going to go to you first on this since I went to everybody. I forgot you were even. I'm not used to you being here, so I forgot you were even here, honestly. The bracket for the NCAA tournament gets revealed tomorrow at noon on ESPN. What is your seed prediction? And do you have I've got a regional. I'm predicting. You don't have to predict the regional. Joey's not going to predict which regional. You got one now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a chance to look at
Okay. Doing the research during the game. What seed do you think we get? Where do you think we end up playing?
The seed that I saw us more likely to get was the 3 seed. And I don't know which regional it was, but they, for some odd reason, they kept pairing us with LSU. I don't know which region that is.
Well, that would be the LSU regional.
Okay. So
because they are a top team and they would be the 1 seed. I agree with you. I'm going to go next because everybody stole all my points today. I was going to say the Baton Rouge Regional, and that would be the 3 seed there. I have seen here today that we're kind of trending up to a 2. If we trend up to a 2, they'd love to put us in Nashville when we're not hosting.
Optimal.
And we've already beat them. We can get through that regional.
What scares me about that region, though?
Who else is
Cincinnati.
in? Cincinnati's in that regional.
We have had some problems with them. Yeah.
Traditionally, so that's your take.
I think. I mean, if there is, and I will not pretend to try to convince anybody that I know anything about baseball seeding or anything like that. But if it's anything kind of like basketball seeding, they're going to try to keep teams closer to home. Things like that. So I think that if realistically, if we're a 2 or a 3, I think if they can keep us in Nashville, they'll make us a 3 in Nashville. Because like we talked earlier, it doesn't really matter whether you're a 2 or 3. Yeah. Once you get what region you're going to, yada yada. If you're not the 1 or the 4, like you don't want to be the 4 because you got to play the 1. So if you're a 2 or a 3, it doesn't matter. But I think that would make the most sense. Is Nashville? There would be a huge turnout, obviously.
Sure. And they all when the projections come out through the year, every year, if we're the 1 seed, Vandy's the 2. Yeah. And it used to turn out for about 5-6 years. They actually did it, and then for the next 10 years, they just threatened it a lot. I personally don't think we end up in Nashville unless we're a 3. I think that unless we're a 2. Sorry, unless we're a 2. If we're a 3, I think they're going to ship us to one of many, but I think Baton Rouge is the.
So there's 16 regionals, right?
Yeah, 16 regionals. There's 8 national seeds, which means you get to host all the way through to the World Series.
16 times 2 to be a 2 seed, you would want to be in you would think top 32, right?
And we are a top 32 team, but the perception is that the last couple of weeks have not went well for the Louisville Cardinals. So
right, no, I get that. But if you're looking at Vanderbilt, I think that they probably want to see that matchup. Like that's always a good matchup, and then pitting us against the Cincinnati, like can they overcome their bugaboo in Cincinnati, that they had trouble with, and then set up a Louisville Vandy, regional final.
Joey, will you look up for me how we played Cincinnati this year? Do you know what the result was?
It was not good. It was like 17-4.
I thought that was last year. Maybe it was this year.
This year too. I was listening to that on the radio.
Fair enough.
We jumped off to a 3-0 lead, I think, in the first inning. Then they scored 2. We scored 1, went up 4-2, and then it was pretty much.
We've had a couple games like that this year too, where it's just piled on and piled on. Shawn, we're gonna go to Colin last because he's the special guest and he's better than you at this. So we're gonna. But what seed? Where do we end up at?
I still think we'll be a 2 just because the metrics say we're going to be a 2. So I don't see why we wouldn't be. Now, do we end up in Nashville? I still think that's probably where we will end up. Now, I don't know who will be there other than Vanderbilt.
Why are you talking like this with an inflection on everything you say? I really don't know why.
He's the SmackDown ring announcer.
Okay.
That's right. That's right. I'm taking inspiration from Mr. Nash.
I don't know his name. Probably never will.
You want to talk about people that has the most useless knowledge in his head.
Oh no, he's right there. Yeah, absolutely. He would have been a quick recall king of Louisville if he you didn't do quick recall.
I did, but I wasn't very good. I froze in the moment.
Oh, well,
I'm surprised.
Well, there's a lot of moments you froze.
He said he froze in the moment.
Yeah.
I one time I buzzed in.
Did you like go to buzz like?
No, I buzzed in and I was just like, yeah, literally I had that moment.
Oh man.
Can use it in a sentence.
He can't use it in anything.
Proper pronunciation. Oh, dude, I would buzz. I probably buzzed every time. Like, whether I'm going to throw something out there and hopefully it sticks. You know.
So the reason why I'm just going to give you my reason. We're 1-7 in our last 8 games.
Mm-hmm.
In a couple of those games, we were absolutely slapped out of the park. So that's why I'm thinking we're going to be, because again, in any tournament selection, it's what have you done lately?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize, I thought we had a better record than we did. It says here that we were 35-21 on the season, which has to be still a solid. I'm 63% of the games you played, you won, but it's definitely not a Dan McDonnell standard season. And even if you turn that 1-6 to a 6-1, that's a Dan McDonnell season. So we've not played well as of late. So that's why I'm saying we're probably closer to the 3 seed.
So I know in light basketball, when the bracket came out, we were, oh man, we feel like in football and basketball we kind of get
shafted,
shunned.
Yeah,
I don't feel like they do that in the baseball. Like I think
they normally don't.
Yeah, so that's why I kind of think that maybe with that 1-7 finish, they still look at the whole season, the wins at the beginning of the season that we had, things like that, and the respect that Coach Mack has, and say, you know what? Yeah, they kind of slid there at the end, but Coach Mack will have them ready for the big tournament here.
They're more fair. They are more. The baseball selection committee, I will say this, is more fair, and that's why I think the 1-7 slide will matter. Last but not least, the superstar, the man, the myth, the legend, Colin. How are you feeling? Where do we end up? What seed were we playing in this first round?
Yeah, I think I agree. I think we're in Nashville. I think it's just a good matchup. I mean, we have the battle of the barrel, right? Like during the season. Mm-hmm. So like that matchup in itself means something. So in the postseason, I could see them doing that to just draw a good crowd. And Vandy's a really cool place to play as well. So like we all shared too, it's close. You get a lot of fans there.
Yeah.
With Cincinnati, it's closer
Cincinnati
to that.
too.
So they're going to be able to travel pretty well.
Yeah.
Wright State's in Ohio, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So if this bracket that's on whatever that Shawn sent me holds true, Vandy, Louisville, Cincinnati, Wright State, you're going to be able to get a lot of those, all those fan bases to attend. Mm-hmm. And it's ultimately about.
That's bottom line.
So 2 or 3. You think 2?
I think I'm going to be optimistic and say 2 just because I think the committee knows, again, no disrespect to like a Cincinnati or Wright State, but they know that we're better than those teams. So,
okay. I listen, I'm a Louisville sports fan, which means I've been very traumatized the last 5 or 6 years across the board. So there's bright lights ahead. Obviously, everything looks like it's turning around. I'm going to ask y'all this at the end of the show. 2 different questions. And y'all have to remind me because this isn't in the shot sheet. So it's very likely I will close the show and forget all about it.
Likely I'll forget it too.
Most fun. You get to see our sub. Is it called sub-regional? Yeah, our sub-regional. You get to pick the 4 teams that are in our sub-regional or super regional. What am I talking about? I want you all to name the most fun super regional that we could have, and then I want you to give me a nightmare super regional.
It's just 2 teams in the super regional.
No,
right?
4. Oh, sorry, the regionals.
Oh, okay.
So I was right the first time, the sub-regional, because it's sub then super. So I'm going to ask y'all that for the end of the show, so be thinking about it. Speaking of the show, this is the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Wildman, here with the abominable no man, Shawn Barber, Joe Wildman, Sam Baisden, and as far as I'm concerned, Louisville icon, baseball icon, Colin Lyman. And coming to you on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Appreciate you all joining us today. We want to re-shout out our fine sponsors, Fitness Market, Fourpex, Collision Course, Cherry Pick and Shoot 360, Mossy Oak, Planet Fitness Rally House, and Beckman's Fine Blades. Before we go any further, and obviously our first half of the show goes long, about 40 minutes. Second half goes pretty quick, so we won't take a whole lot of y'all's time. We know there's barbecuing to do, which if you're smart, you've got to sit on your outdoor TV on the back patio watching while you're cooking. If you're not,
the ones that aren't smart,
and then the ones that aren't smart, we love y'all too. But before we go any further, it is the hottest segment that is sweeping the nation. It's Shawn's segment. It is, did Shawn get any loving last night? Let's play the video. We have to add another TV in this room so that you all can see the video effects. Now, obviously, I guess I could have put it on this little one. Wasn't thinking. Had a lot of stuff to do, and then today, and then Shawn showed up early, which I wasn't expecting. So it is what it is. But again, thank you for joining us on this beautiful Sunday. 2 weeks, we got another very special guest for you. Again, we're going to try to do as much Louisville baseball as we do basketball and football. That's why we've had Corey. That's why we've had Colin. Assad will be on the show. Trying to get Eddie in here, Mr. EKJ, after the season. Don't want to do anything during the season because don't want to distract from, and plus they probably wouldn't let me talk to him during the season anyway. That's just how, that's what I expect from the SIDs here at Louisville, and that's what it should be expected. Have them focus on their sport. But we're going to a little recruiting, and Shawn, it's time. The spotlight is on you. We had a commitment this past week from power forward Muhammad Kamara, a freshman from NBA Africa, which is the same place that Emmanuel Okorafor came from, Churchill Abbas. Tell us a little bit about Mr. Kamara. And Shawn had a very interesting comparison before the show that I don't think anybody else here agreed with, but we're going to let him go ahead and show his rear end. Not literally, but go ahead. Tell us height, weight, favorite pasta, whatever you got. Let us know about Mr. Kamara.
All right, he stands 6'7", weighs about 215. He's really athletic. He's an undersized kind of 4'5" guy.
So kind of like a Boubacar?
Yeah, kind of like a Boubacar. Rim runner, likes to dunk the ball a whole lot.
We love that.
He's also a really good weak side shot blocker. So he's not. I wouldn't say he'd be good like on the ball shot, like he's guarding a guy and then
help side.
Yeah, help side. He's a very good help side shot blocker.
Nice.
Obviously not a great shooter right now. He's working on that, though. He has started shooting some threes. He shot about, I believe, 25% in the BAL. Not on many attempts, but still, for a guy that's fairly raw, he's showing that he's trying to work, expand his game. And I think under our coach Pat Kelsey, he's going to be able to do so. Because that's what Pat Kelsey does. He develops guys. I expect him to come in and be more of a Frank Anselm eBay type, meaning.
Stop. So that's where we're going to stop, Shawn, for a second, because he told us that before the show, and me and Joey literally almost hypothetically busted a blood vessel because I love Frank Anselm eBay. He didn't get to showcase his skills enough. Ultimate teammate. Great Twitterer.
Oh, yeah. Cheerleader. Good.
Teammate.
Yeah,
teammate.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when you tell somebody, when you're sitting in the barbershop and somebody's like, Shawn, who does Kamara remind you of? And you say Frank Anselm, but you're going to have a bunch of people jump out of their chairs and run out the front door. Just like we were talking earlier about the baseball. If you're not a hardcore Louisville baseball fan, you may not know who had the most clutch moments, Colin Lyman, or hit the most home runs very, very far, Corey Ray. But, there's certain intent, things that you do know. So kind of elaborate a little bit on what you mean about Frank Anselm, eBay, Timu, whatever his last name was.
What I mean is he's so raw that he's not going to be expected to come in and play a lot of minutes this year. He'll come in and spell maybe 2 to 5 minutes a game, depending on foul trouble. He may come in more. I expect him more to grow into like a starter by his junior year, even though he is 20 years old. Let's keep that in mind. He's a little older than your normal incoming freshman. Other than that, the actual comparison player wise to me is Montrezl Harrell.
Okay, so how in the name of Baby Jesus above, love you, do you go from Frank Anselm eBay to Montrezl Harrell?
Basically,
that would be
role versus talent.
Okay,
talent, he's Montrezl Harrell.
Yes,
role.
This is why you were a horrible quick recaller.
Yeah.
That would be like saying, man, Zan Payne. You want to know who Michael Jordan reminds me of? Zan Payne. Like you just can't shout out to Zan or vice versa. Man, my Zan Payne reminds me a lot of Michael. No, he doesn't.
So when they do like the scouting, they have the floor and the ceiling. So is that what you're saying? His floor is Frank?
No, he's not. Because at that point, he'd be in the basement. He wouldn't be the floor of the ceiling. He'd be underground at that point.
That still wasn't even what he was talking about.
No, I was comparing role versus talent. So talent, you got the talent Montrezl Harrell, but he's so raw that his role
talent
this year.
Montrezl Harrell as a freshman.
Yes.
Okay, that's a little closer.
Not that. He's not the finished product.
So that's what we had to dig out of him earlier.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about, Montrezl Harrell? Like, how can you possibly, go from Frank to Montrezl? Well, he's got the talent and the skill set of Montrezl as a freshman.
That makes a little bit more sense.
And the role that he'll play on this team this year will be more of a Frank Anselm. So when I hear people say, well, who does he remind you of? That's not even close to where I go to. No, I'm just saying, not trying to be a jerk. Like, I try to think of somebody, when you said Frank Anselm, I'm thinking of his talent level.
Mm-hmm. Right. Not his trajectory, not any of that.
If you'd have just said straight up, he reminds me of a freshman Montrezl. Conversation would have been over.
Yeah,
I
wouldn't necessarily would have agreed with him, but the conversation.
But this is why they didn't win in quick recall.
Well, that's why he hasn't won.
That's absolutely correct in that point. I was talking to our guy Dalton Pence, recruiting guy for the CardinalSportsZone.com, and asked him a little bit to give us some good recruiting news. He said that we're sitting in a good spot with Jordan Smith, with Quaden Samuels, Dylan Mingo, Deron Rippey Jr., and Tyran Stokes. So I've heard the same thing about Rippey and Stokes. I haven't heard anything about those other guys, but I can tell you that we are sitting in pretty good with those other guys. Let's switch over. Let's change field, pun intended, and go to football a little bit. Sam, we got a commit this week from 3-star running back Leaky Tompkins. Fun name. Tell us a little bit about Mr. Leaky. Leaky.
So,
kill me.
And he's done.
Comical.
This has been the Cardinal podcast.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's 6'1", 6'2", probably about 230, and that's a big running back.
What? Can you repeat yourself, Sam? Joey was still laughing. I couldn't hear what you said.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
So right now he's listed at somewhere between 6'1" and 6'2". We'll probably get a better rating and measurements once he gets on campus. You know how high school do it. So he's 6'1", 6'2", around 230. That's a big running back. So I don't want to put him into the power back conversation or the power back box, because I know the coaching staff will not do that. They're going to find ways to use him outside of just a traditional fullback or H-back. So I'll give you a comparison to, like, right now, the biggest
Sam, really quick, please do not tell me Icebox from Little Giants is your comparison
for
this running back, because that's what Shawn did.
Okay.
Bad Shawn.
So I'll skip ahead to something that I was going to say at the end.
Sure.
To me, right off the bat, just watching him, he reminds me of the freshman, sophomore Anthony Allen from back in the day.
Okay, that's a big one.
So
that's a good one.
But like comparison to what his height and size is right now, the biggest back on our roster is freshman Gates at 5'11", 200 pounds, and then of course you have Kewan Brown, that's 5'10", 210 pounds. If you put Leaky next to both of them, he's obviously bigger, broader, and taller than both of them. So I mentioned earlier about not wanting to put him in a power back conversation. I'd say he's more of a balance back. He doesn't have the speed like Isaac and Duke Brown, but at 6'1", he has these long strides. So he tries to set up his blocks to where he can, if you let him get the hold of, he gets in space. He's not going to necessarily outrun anybody, but his long strides are going to allow him to outrun slower defenders. But what impressed me a lot about him is his vision. He like I said earlier, he sets up blocks, so it makes it easier for pulling guards, tight ends, and even the wide receivers to block downfield for him to get those long gains. So I'm looking forward to see how Coach Brom works him into his system. So that's what impressed me a lot about him. The disappointing part for me is I didn't get to see a lot of him in terms of pass blocking. And I know highlights, they don't really show running backs pass blocking. But as you know, and most people know, coming in as a freshman, that's where the barometer is set to where you play a lot or you don't, because coaches can't have you on the field if you can't pass block. So that's one of the things that I'm waiting to see how he does once he gets in on campus, how he pass blocks, so that we can use him more on first, second, or third down, and not just in running situations.
Now, Sam, you may have said this. You had to excuse me. My wife waits until the show's on to text me every 2 weeks. So I was dealing with a crisis there. But did you let everybody know where he's from?
He's from Tennessee. No, I did not say where he was from, but he is in the Tennessee area. From the Tennessee area.
Joey,
is he going to be on the team this coming fall, or is he 2026?
2026.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying he's the starter next year by everything you just said?
No.
That's what it sounded like.
I'm saying
Sam Basin, from his lips.
You all heard it right now. Leaky Johnson, or Leaky Tompkins. Which one is it? Thomas?
Leaky. We're just calling him Leaky. Leaky Lou.
Mr. Leaky Lou, the starter at U of L in 2 seasons.
First Sam Basin.
It's going to be hard to keep him off the field with that strength and that size. Like his Coach Brom is going to find a way to utilize him, not just in short yardage situations or on the goal line, things like that. He's gonna build a package for him, and once he does that, be careful, because he can do so many things out of it. Because you know how many times he used the name is escaping me, the fullback that we had.
I know you're talking about, but I can't think of it either.
He would put him in certain situations, and you would think that it's a running play just on the formation and based on the personnel, but he would play after it, and you would get a tight end wide open, all because of the formation and the personnel. So I'm excited to see what Coach Brom is going to do once that young man gets on campus, because he is really extremely talented.
Well, if Sam sees that he, may have an issue with pass block, I'm sure the coaching staff has as well.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll probably have, give him that feedback, and his coaches in high school that feedback, and they'll be working with him on pass blocking in practice and things.
Absolutely.
Like that. So they'll get him ready for him to be the full-time starter next year per Sam Basin.
Listen, we got some comments on the chat line. Our guy Babu says, Shawn, LOL, just say he is Cater with a better looking jump shot. The Frank Anselm eBay.
Yeah.
Okay. He also says, Shawn thinks that he's somewhere between the icebox from Little Giants and Jerome Bettis. That's a good one. And very, very accurate. Look, we're heading down the finish line. Rapid fire is next. 3 University of Louisville men's golfers were named to the Ping Midwest Division I All-Region team, the GCAA announced on Saturday morning. Sebastian Moss, Easton Johnson, and Cooper Claycomb all earned honors after leading their team to the NCAA Regionals. The Cardinals placed 7th place in the Tallahassee Regional.
Fabulous golf names.
Everyone, like, you've got baseball names that are just
fabulous golf names.
What's the guy's name? We got a baseball player this year, and his name's like something Hot or Hot something.
Yeah, Byron Hot.
That's a baseball name.
Yeah, sweet name.
But his bat is hot. No, he is Byron Hot.
Yeah.
That's a commercial.
Ping Davis, that's another good baseball name. Ping
that's
coming to the plate.
That's a good golf name.
Yeah, great golf.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great golf name, yeah.
Homer Daly, like that's a great baseball name.
Yeah.
We'll save that for a different show. Yeah, for sure. The U of L track and field teams qualified 17 student athletes in the 2025 Division I Outdoor Track and Field East preliminary round, as announced by the NCAA on Thursday. Additionally, 3 Cardinals officially punched their tickets to the 2025 Outdoor Track and Field Championships in the combined events. KJ Bird and Paul Kahlenberg will contest the men's decathlon, and Lucy Fellows will compete in the women's heptathlon. That's what I said. At the national championship meet that will take place from June 11th through June 14th in Eugene, Oregon.
KJ Bird.
U of L Athletics is partnered with Andrew Brand, one of the nation's most influential voices in sports law and business. Brand does serve as a key advisor to departmental leadership as collegiate sports enter a new era of revenue sharing and student athlete empowerment. Brand, a former vice president of the Green Bay Packers and current executive director of the Morad Center for the Study of Sports Law at Villanova University, brings unmatched expertise and a proven track record across both professional and collegiate sports. A respected authority in the industry, Brand is also a columnist for Sports Illustrated, host of the Business of Sports podcast, and a wildly... See, Higgy wrote this, so I'm expecting there to be miswrites, typos, and there's just not been any. So I know that AI wrote this for him, and it wasn't him.
Yeah, shout out to Megan.
Shout out to Megan.
Josh Hurd connection there from Villanova. I had heard that and read that they were friends, former classmates at Villanova at one point.
He is a widely followed commentator with over 250,000 followers on Twitter. I'm never calling it X. You can do it all you want to. I won't do that. ESPN Events announced the addition of a newly owned and operated women's volleyball tournament. The inaugural Showdown at the Net set for September 9th through the 10th. As part of the showdown, the University of Louisville will face off with the Texas Longhorns on September 10th. I think the winner of that match plays the winner of Kentucky and somebody else.
Nebraska.
Higgy didn't include that. He just said.
Or AI didn't.
Sorry. U of L shortstop Alex Alicea was named a semifinalist for the Brooks Wallace Award announced by the College Baseball Foundation on Wednesday. Alicea is one of 30 players on that short list for the award that honors the country's best shortstop.
Great name for short. I mean, it's obviously we've heard of other Aliceas in majors, but is there any relation there? Do you know?
Not that I know of.
Because I mean, while it's not a common name, so I just wonder if there was, and I can't remember the other. I know I've heard of
Luis Alicea.
Luis Alicea played for the Cardinals, maybe.
I think he played for the Cardinals. I want to say the Mets.
Okay, yeah.
Alex
Great name.
He's smooth.
Or as Shawn Moth calls him, Alicea.
Shawn Moth, one of the greats,
the GOAT.
Like just the greats. U of L middle blocker Kara Cressy and outside hitter Chloe Chacon, I'm guessing on that, were named by USA Volleyball as two of the 18 athletes who will train with the 2025 Women's Under-23 National Team for the Norqueca Under-23 Pan American Cup, July 25th through August 2nd in Leon, Mexico. And last but not least, in the rapid fire, which has not been very rapid because Higgy has made every one of these out to be a novel. U of L men's basketball incoming freshman guard Mikael Brown Jr. has been selected to participate in the 2025 USA Basketball Men's Under-19 National Team Training Camp at the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Training Center in Colorado Springs, Colorado. That's the same thing that if you all remember last year, Trenton Flowers was a part of. So, and I'll touch on that a little bit more in a few. Please support our photographers here at Cardinal Sports Zone: Jeff Nunn, TJ Barr, Justin Kruger, and Keith Russell. Bar none, the best team in the business. Even if you're my friends and run other websites, you can't argue that. You can try to argue it, you'd be incorrect. For sponsorship opportunities, bottom left-hand corner, there's my email. I know what you're going to say. It looks like you got quite a few sponsors. Well, we got room for more. So hop on with us. Enjoy the ride. Stay tuned to our social media and subscribe to us on YouTube or Facebook to be alerted anytime we go live, even though we prefer YouTube. You can find the audio version of this podcast on over 125 different podcast avenues: Apple, iTunes, Buzzsprout, Spotify, TuneIn, Google, Amazon, and iHeart. Hit subscribe, like, heart, +sign, or whatever it is that Shawn does on the weekend now to have them downloaded directly to your phone or PC. If you haven't listened to all the prior episodes of the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast, it's easy to find. Go to cardinalsportszone.com, the podcast tab, podcast drop-down menu. Select the CSZ podcast for everything. I like to call it before and after. So before our radio stint, we were on 93.9 DeVille for probably about 5 or 6 years. All that stuff prior to that is under archives. Everything after that, which includes the first appearance of Colin Lyman on our podcast, is under just CSZ Podcast. So check that out there. Check our exclusives out on cardinalsportszone.com, the place it all began. Shout out to everybody out there sharing the podcast. We appreciate and love you guys. Shout out to our guys. We've already talked about them once, but Marcus Maven and Steve Rummage doing the good work Monday through Friday from 10 to noon, or about 10:07 to 11:45 to be more exact. Mondays through Friday on ESPN 93.9 DeVille. Shout out to our guy Dalton Pence, who's got a show from 6 to 7 on the Big X called Mondays with Dalton Pence. Very clever name there. Yeah. And shout out to Dalton for making it Facebook. He's got a girlfriend now. And he said he's had one I told him this morning, congratulations on the girlfriend. He said, haha, I've had one. Put a picture up of him and his girlfriend on Facebook. It's official. Facebook official. Last but not least, we'll give a shout out to our guy Blake McCauley from CardinalSportsZone.com and Terrence Jennings, former Cardinal. They've got a new show called Spill in the Ville. It is one of the shows here on the Cardinal Sports Zone Podcast Network. Check it out. Different perspective. The great thing about Louisville is we've got a lot of former Cards with a lot of different perspectives. There's a different show. I mean, Larry O'Bannon's got the Players Perspective podcast. Luke Whitehead told us he's starting up a podcast. Terrence Jennings has his with Blake. So it's just get you a mic and a camera and tell us about if it's anything Louisville centric, us Louisville fans will eat it up, and we'll probably criticize it a little bit and crap on it, but we'll still support you and watch it. Social media wise, where can people find you on social media, Colin? Because you're not on Twitter anymore.
Not really.
What in the heck, man?
The new owner kicked me off after I was inactive for over a certain period of time. So no longer have that. So that at is available now. But yeah, I'm on Instagram mostly. Facebook, I guess. Mostly Instagram. Though.
So you can find him on Facebook under his name. On Instagram, he just wants you to guess.
Yeah, just guess. There's a few. No one really looks like me though, so we'll figure it out.
Fair enough. Sam, where can they find you on social media? Hey, Sam's here.
Sam.
Hey, Sam.
Baseboy124.
He's Baseboy124 on all avenues. Shawn, what is your Twitter, Instagram, and Farmers Only handle?
At Elville Shawn. That's Twitter.
Okay.
SBarber06 on Instagram. And Oshkosh Bagosh on.
I thought it was One Lonely Boy on Farmers Only. No.
It's QR Choker 123. It's a quick recall choker.
Jeez.
QR Choker 123.
I'm at Jeremy _CSZ. And
Joe Wallman 526.
I didn't get to you yet. He's Joe Wallman 526. You threw me off with the choker. I'll just have to be honest with you. You threw me off with the choker.
What the question you asked us to do.
Yeah.
Tried to move on quick from that.
Absolutely, trying to. Shout out to our guys, Dan and Mark, out at the 502 Circle, making sure that a majority of our sports are getting funded for NIL. We appreciate that. So let's go really quickly. I said I had a question for y'all for the end of the show. Colin, we're going to lead off, pun intended, with you. Okay. Your most fun regional that we could be in.
It could happen.
They don't even have to be could happen. And you're right in you're right in the tournament. You get to do it all.
Don't be looking at mine.
Okay.
No, he likes to steal. Not only does he like to steal catches and hits from people, he likes to steal people's ideas.
Gosh, I think a realistic one, or just like
no, just whatever. One of them could be whatever.
Yeah, I feel like you gotta just do like all our rivals, like UK, Vandy, and I feel like Notre Dame's.
Okay, he almost stole mine. He didn't.
Yeah,
so
I'm leaving Cincinnati in mine.
Okay, so we'll do that first. So you give you
Vandy, Cincinnati, UK.
Okay.
Cincy.
You stole mine.
I didn't see yours.
As mine.
No, I got a privacy screen, so you probably wouldn't have been able to see it anyway.
Sam, what about you? Or are you not
for the nightmare one?
No, for the fun one.
Oh, the fun one. Vandy, FSU, and UCLA.
Oh,
Okay, that would be pretty
Do
fun.
we have any history with UCLA?
UCLA, I like that.
No,
Okay.
we don't. No, Sam's just pulling that one out of his backside. I'm gonna go. Obviously Louisville, Vanderbilt, Kentucky, IU.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, I like that. Or throw a Western Kentucky or somebody in there.
True. All right, nightmare. I'm gonna go. I'll lead that one off. I'm gonna go LSU, obviously Louisville, Michigan, and then I'm gonna just throw in Cincinnati because I think they've already been a nightmare for us. So I'm gonna throw that one in there.
Mine's the same for both. Because while those those other 3 teams I said would be fun, to have those, it's also kind of nightmare, right? Because we don't want to lose to the team up the road.
No.
We don't really want to lose to Cincinnati, get blown out by them.
Can we talk?
Maybe I could change Vandy with somebody. Maybe I'll just put Clemson or Georgia Tech in there, just because it's a conference team with kind of a conference rival. Yeah. Georgia Tech won the conference, I believe, regular season. So I'll throw them in there instead of Vandy.
Can we talk about how ridiculous? Speaking of the team down the road, how ridiculous, and we mentioned this a lot, that they've had a sign in their facility for 20 years that says the road to Omaha comes through Lexington. Well, they had never even been to Omaha till last season, right?
Yeah, but if you're coming from an East Coast site and you got to go,
you think they meant technically? You
64, you got to go through Lexington.
So you think whereas we have that at our stadium,
no, we mean it differently.
Okay,
you have to beat us here to get there.
Okay.
Saying you got to drive 64 or 75 or something. Yeah, it's logistical with them.
Okay. Fair.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Fair enough.
They just want to make, some people think, hey,
Well, that's just like the national championship in college football that they have in their football facility that they never won. Yeah. It's just a bunch of boo-ha.
They won, but it was against Dallas Baptist.
No, they didn't. They didn't win a college
school for the blind.
They've never won a college football national championship.
Oh, I don't know.
No, they haven't.
I don't know.
No, I'm just letting you know they haven't.
Keep up with theirs.
No. I just remember them having a ceremony for it, and everybody just making fun of them for having a ceremony for something that didn't exist.
Well, hey, we just won the national championship.
Oh, the U of L basketball.
Just anything.
Oh,
just now
we won.
Yes.
We won. Yeah.
All right, let's get Shawn, put in a work order. Shawn, put in a work order for a national championship trophy.
Yeah, and a banner.
And a banner. We'll have it in his studio. We'll have it here in studio. Yeah. I'll pay for the express shipping. Let's just get it done. Sam, what's your nightmare one?
2-time.
Oh, we just won it again?
Yeah, we just won again.
Holy cow. That's the Colin Lyman effect, man.
Let's go.
There you go. Congratulations,
Sam's here.
everybody.
Well, Sam, hey, what's up, Sam? What's yours? What's your nightmare?
The nightmare one, like most of y'all, I have Cincinnati and the blue people up the street, and then I also threw in LSU.
Okay, that would be kind of a nightmare. Shawn?
I would stick with Vanderbilt because we already beat them, and I would hate to lose to them again.
So that would be a nightmare for you to lose to a team we've already beaten.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Cincinnati still, but also I'd throw in West Virginia because West Virginia, I hate them.
Okay.
I hate them almost. They're my second most hated team outside of Kentucky.
In any sport.
I can't stand them.
They did throw batteries at us in football in Morgantown, so I would see why you would hate them. Colin.
Yeah. I will, again, not afraid of any of these schools. Let's preface with that.
Absolutely.
Just not ideal situation. I think Georgia Tech is hot right now. They weren't even ranked 3 weeks ago, and they just went on an absolute heater and won the conference regular season for ACC, which is a big deal. I mean, it's arguably one of that and the SEC are the top conferences in the country. Yeah. So to win over Florida State, North Carolina, Clemson, all these different schools, impressive. So wouldn't want to run into them. And then I'd have to say probably a couple SEC schools. They got arms. Again, not afraid of them, but a Tennessee, they got some depth, they got some hitters, and probably an LSU, I think. And you know how it is with just different environments, like playing on the road in one of those environments could be.
Is it Texas A&M that does the? Yeah, I wouldn't want to play there.
That was.
So your nightmare is what I think is going to happen.
Yeah.
The 3 seed and I saw a graph. I don't know. There's no way it can be true, but apparently they had like 300,000 fans in attendance this year for LSU baseball. It was an ungodly number, and I'm like, wait a minute. To average that out, they only played about 27 home games. So you're trying to tell me they had like 30, 40,000 people at a baseball game? They do?
Yeah.
Oh, I can see that.
It's like the most, like they always pack that thing out.
Because you got to think, I mean, in baseball, like they're kind of like a Michigan or an Ohio State football, right?
Oh, yeah.
So they have 100,000 seat stadiums. Like Michigan and Ohio State average probably close to 650,000 fans a year, in football for home games. So I could see that. If they've got a big stadium for, and I don't know.
I have no idea how the capacity of their baseball. I just remember
it's not far off.
It was. I'll look it up after I asked y'all's opinion. It was something ridiculous. It was a ridiculous number.
Yeah.
I was like, "There's no way that's possible." I didn't believe. Final thoughts. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little anxious about the Mikael Brown news, especially since that was the same place where they picked off Trenton from us, and I had the privilege of meeting Trenton Flowers over the summer last year and kind of picking his brain about why he didn't go to Louisville. A lot of, without revealing too much of what we talked about, it was the uncertainty on whether or not the coach was embracing NIL, which he wasn't, like he should have. I don't. So let's flip that a little bit. I'm not as worried. I am worried because Louisville fan trauma. It just is what it is. But I think Pat Kelsey has been very aggressive as far as NIL and getting these play. And Trenton and his family, amazing people. Spent a couple of days with them accidentally in Orlando while I was down there visiting with Nolan, and great people. Had a blast going, and I got to watch them do some individual workouts over that weekend. I really wish that he could have, we could have bumped him up a couple of years and he could have been here now, because it would have been a different story. But just a little bit hesitant about that. I guess if what will fix that is time, and if he makes it to Louisville and plays for Louisville, then that'll leave the back of my head. Next episode will be Sunday, June the 8th, 2 weeks from today, with one of my favorite people. He has returned to the Ville to make a difference. We will have in studio in 2 weeks. Terrence Jennings will be in the building with us. So he's another guy. We went one of two routes this summer so far. You've either been a Louisville Baseball Association or you work at Shoot 360, because we've had Peyton. We're gonna have Peyton. We've had Luke, and we're gonna have Terrence. So it's gonna be a good time. Joey, your final thoughts for the week?
Maryland's still trash.
Yeah, we hate Maryland. Colin, we hate Maryland here.
Maryland.
We don't. I don't know why, but we just do. Joey does.
It started 6 years ago with just a conversation I was having a guy at work, and how he thought Maryland was just absolutely good because they were the greatest, because they were ranked one year in basketball.
Well, they did win the national championship in 2000.
Maryland's trash, and it
stuck.
It's just my shtick.
Your shtick, okay.
Help control the pet population, like Shawn does.
Well,
be celibate or get your pet spayed or neutered.
Fair enough. Sam, what about your Sam's here. Sam, hey. Your final thoughts for this week?
Thanks for watching the Cardinal Sports.
School's out for summer.
Oh yeah, nice.
Do what, Sam? I didn't hear you.
School's out. I'm done.
So what Sam's saying in essence is there should be no excuse for the rest of the summer for him not to be here. Okay. All right. We're holding him to that. Shawn?
Congratulations to all the graduates out there. My niece, she got promoted from 5th grade. She's going to middle school. Congratulations, Bella. Love you. And other than that, everybody just let's get ready for the baseball tournament.
All right. I love it. Also want to give, I know we shouted her out Friday night, but my niece, Ashlyn, she got promoted to out of high school. Where did that even come from? Promoted. Oh, you
Promoted.
I got promoted to third grade.
From high school, you get promoted from grade to grade, or from elementary.
That just sounds like that just screams participation trophy to me. It just does. It screams participation trophy. It's crazy. I got promoted to second grade. Well, you were in first grade for 4 years. You should have got promoted.
Participation.
Hey, cut his mic. It just screams participation trophy to me. That's just one of my
my nephew also graduated actually yesterday morning or yesterday afternoon, 12:30 from Fairdale. So he's done. He's out. Starting. I would keep trying to tell him, hey man, now life starts.
It's time.
Yeah.
Well,
ain't no more spring breaks, ain't no more summer breaks. No, you got to hope that you've accrued enough PTO that you can take some time off in the summer.
That's very fair. Ashlyn, not only did she graduate. Well, she's already her school year's over, but their graduation ceremony is not till Tuesday. But she is the president in the state of Kentucky of Educators Rising because she's in a program to become a teacher. She was one of like 15 students in the city. I'm making that number up. I want it to sound very impressive. I don't know how
said one of 5.
She was one of 3 students in the city.
The only one
that got a.
We just won another national championship.
Oh my gosh! Yes, let's go. Sam's here. Let's go. All right, this has been a very fun show, but this is the truth. She's one of very few students in the city that was awarded a contract. She is guaranteed a job at Jefferson County Public Schools after she graduates college. What she's about to make a decision. I think she's down to Bellarmine and Louisville. Either one for teaching. You honestly, you could go to JCTCS and be a teacher in Jefferson County, but she's very academically. Sam, it's true.
I didn't say bus driver.
I didn't say bus driver. I said teacher.
I'm in school to be a teacher. You only get to do 2 years at JCC, and then they send you to U of L.
Sam, listen, I'm not trying to crap on your parade. It's going to sound like it because I like to.
I could be a substitute in Bullitt County.
Yeah, like all I have.
Associate's degree.
Yeah. What? What? You can't hear us again?
No, I can hear you. Joey was saying something.
Oh, well. Anyway, like in Jefferson County, hey, Sam's here.
Hey.
No, when I was coming up, all you had to do is have an associate's degree to be a teacher. You didn't have to have any kind of certification. You could literally walk off the street and say, "Well, I was working in a factory yesterday, but I want to teach it. I want to be a substitute teacher at Jefferson." I had a couple of friends that did that too. So, but Ashley's going to be phenomenal. She's going to be a phenomenal teacher. I'm not really sure how a shy kid. Like, why would a shy kid want to teach kids? They can't even talk to people their own age. They want to talk to kids that are younger than them.
Well, yeah, because all the kids growing up from her and after are going to be the same as her.
Fair enough. But she
like the mentality and all that stuff. Actually, makes sense.
She's actually come out of her shell a lot since she's been in high school, and she's just the things she's had to go through and overcome to even be where she's at today. Very, very proud of her. We'll leave it at that before it starts sounding like I'm saying that she should have been a Bullitt County teacher. Colin, your final thoughts for today?
Excited, expectant, just for what's to come with baseball. Like I said, anything can happen. I think we got a great team. Really enjoyed being on the podcast with y'all.
We enjoyed having you, man. Thank you.
Most
You're welcome to come back.
Podcast I've ever been on.
Oh yeah, we don't sugarcoat.
I love it.
Nothing. And you're welcome to come back anytime, man.
Thanks.
Don't tell any of the other guests, but you're actually our favorite guest.
These have been like, and again, no offense to anybody else. This is not shooting any shade toward the Friday night and today have been like 2 of my favorites.
Well, whenever we have guests, whether it be virtually,
with us, it makes it a lot more personal,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, I really enjoyed them the last two.
Which is why my first question to Colin was, please tell me you're still in Louisville, because I wanted him to come. Because the virtual ones are still like the one we have with Dewan 3 episodes ago. Dewan Wheat, another Louisville legend. We've had nothing but Louisville. That'll stop in a couple weeks when we have Nick Valvano on. But other than that, we've had plenty. Yeah, Nick will be in the studio with us here in a couple weeks. He's going to show Shawn how to produce a show.
Who's going to show him?
That's true. Very true. He takes a lot of crap from Marcus.
Coming back to show him?
I don't know. He could be. But yeah, we've had a lot of great, and I try to save these for a certain portion of the year. So this year, I'm like, let's have all of our guests come in during the summer, so that way we can focus on them, their opinions of the seasons and stuff. Year before, I just got out of the hospital and feeling like I wasn't going to live another day, so I was like, let's just load it up for the football season. And we had a former NFL player on every week for 12 weeks. It was awesome. And then we also had Shawn on too, which was kind of a letdown for the other fans. But
Sam Madison's still waiting to be able to hear Sam Basden's voice.
Yes, that was so great. So great. Hey, Sam's here.
Hey, we won four. We won four.
4 titles in 30 minutes. It's crazy. Next episode, Sunday, June the 8th. Terrence Jennings, we appreciate it. For Joe Wallman, for Shawn Barber, for Colin Lyman, for Sam Bates. Sam's here.
No, he's not.
I'm Jeremy Wallman. I'm going to do Shawn's job. We hope you guys enjoy this week. L's up. Thanks again for the support. We love you guys. Until next time, this has been the Cardinal Sports Zone Podcast. I really hope this music